Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. It is January 1st and for the month of January we're going to be doing the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, which isn't really a challenge for us, but this year we're going to be doing it a little bit different. I'm showing you my sourdough starter. Here I have two of them. This one is a combination of whole wheat and all-purpose, and this one is it's just all-purpose. So the reasoning behind this is for like cookies and cakes and stuff, and this one will be for my breads. So that's what I'm going to be trying to make a concerted effort this year to introduce more sourdough into my baking. Not necessarily all sourdough, but maybe the essence of sourdough. So we'll see how that goes. That's one thing that I'm going to be doing for not only the Pantry Challenge, but for the year of 2026. So if you made it through 2025 and you've actually done 2026, like we have in bed, then I think this year is going to be, hopefully, make it a better year than it was last year. So on January 1st, we usually do a soup. So I pulled out it's usually a split pea soup that my grandmother and mother made for New Year's, but my husband doesn't like split pea because it had so much of it when he was younger. He just doesn't like the care for it anymore. So I've pulled out a gold lentil and I've pulled out a red lentil out of my pantry. And I'm going to be making a soup out of the ham bone that we had for Christmas and all the droppings and everything. I put it in a bowl and I put it in the freezer. Usually I just keep it in my fridge and make the soup out of it that way. Sometimes I make broth. This year I'm going to be making soup out of that. So here is get this open. Here is the ham bone with the frozen liquid that I made my ham with. And I pulled out a jar of the ham that I rebel canned, and I'm going to use that in the soup as well. So I have some carrots that I pulled out of the fridge. This is from last year's garden harvest, and they've been preserved in the fridge. You see they're kind of sprouting a little bit, but they're okay, and they will last months in the fridge. So I'm going to get some of these cut up, and these are the smaller ones. The bigger ones I'll save for something else. And we'll get these cut up and go into our ham soup. Okay, so I have my 8-quart stock pot here. I thawed out that bone enough to get it out of the bowl. And underneath that, I had some drippings from the half of the ham that I cut off. And I also had probably about a cup of potato soup that I made 2 nights ago. And it was in the fridge. So I did a sort of a fridge clean out. I've cut and chopped my carrots, some of my carrots. I'm probably going to need a lot more than that. And I'm going to fill this up with water and get that bone going. And depending on how I see it going, I might actually take that out in about an hour or so and actually make broth out of that bone. I saw a video where they took their bones and made broth several times from the same bones. So if I can get soup out of this and some more broth, then that will be a win-win. I'm going to see how it goes. So we're going to get this going on a medium-low heat and let that boil away. Simmer away pretty much. It's not going to boil. It's going to simmer for the next probably about an hour before I put anything else in it. Then I'll add the carrots and let them go for about a half an hour. And then I'll put my lentils in. And I think I'm going to mix the gold and the red. Put a little bit of both. Probably about half a cup or a cup of both in. So I've got my bone covered. That is actually not scum. It's actually fat from the broth that I put in. And the potato soup. So I'm going to put in my spices. And I'm looking for some bay leaves. And I'll put some salt in. And whatever other spices I want to add in. I'll add them in now while I'm getting this up to temp. And then I'll lower it and just let it go for the next hour. So I've got all my veggie in. Got my 2 bay leaves in. And I'm just going to let this come to sort of like a boil. And then I'm going to turn it way down and let it go. And I am not going to add anything else to it right now. I'm just going to let it go and get all the flavorings out of that bone before I add my veggies and my meat. And I think I might do a little bit of rice with the lentils. I'll see how it goes. I'll see. But yeah, this is going to be my base for my soup for New Year's Day from the pantry. Okay, so I've pulled the bone out of my soup, and I am actually going to make broth with this. I'm going to put it on a pot and just let it go. And we'll see what we get out of this. So now that I've taken my bone out, I have my lentils here. I soaked them and washed them several times. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to add them in and get them cooking as well. And they shouldn't take long, probably about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to add my meat and the rest of my veg, and it's going to be ready to go. So I set up my broth. The bones are in there. I did use a little bit of this. This is the last little bit, so I'm just washing out the jar. That's all that was left in there. I put onions in there, carrots, and then some celery that I had. And yeah, I'm going to let this go on low overnight. Okay, so my lentils are cooked in the soup. I'm going to add my mixed veg. I'm putting in 2 cans of that. I'm going to add in the ham. And all this stuff is already cooked, so I'm just warming it through. Then I'm going to add in my jar of ham. And it goes. I'm sorry about that. You are very foggy. It'll clear up in a second, maybe. But anyway, the soup's just about done. I'm just going to warm that vegetables and stuff through. And there we are going to eat. It's not as thick as we like our soup, but it's okay. I might thicken it. Might thicken it just a little bit. And that is tonight's dinner. Ham soup with lots of veggies and lentils and potatoes and carrots and of course ham. Yep. Made from what was left over from Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody.